Hello, everybody. Hope you're having a great weekend. This is Colin and Curtis in the morning. Colin, I believe this is episode 23. It might be
Uh,
24.
sure. I trust you with all the knack souls that I've acquired.
Okay,
I don't know what that
that's your
means.
first mistake.
Okay.
It's one of those two numbers. This is Colin and Curtis in the morning. Colin, you're back from
I
PAX.
I am back. I've
You
returned.
lived.
Yeah, I've returned from the harsh 70-degree weather of San Antonio, Texas, and I'm back. We're here and get a chat about some news and some
Did you drive or
PlayStation Plus stuff.
fly?
I was a driver
Okay.
this time.
Is that a long drive? Or?
It's about a 10-hour drive.
Okay.
I would say probably if I ever do it again, I'll probably fly, but especially with gas, as cheap as it is,
Yeah.
it didn't kind of make much sense to fly. So yeah, it only took about a day and a half to get down there, so it wasn't too bad.
Cool. Well, we'll probably hear a lot of your impressions on the regular podcast, but you do have some articles already up on the website that
Yep.
people can check out. What's already up so far? There's a screen sheet I think went up today.
Yeah, so screen sheet. There's one for Lightfall, which is like a 2D puzzle platformer, and trying to think of the other ones right now. What
Well,
did I
there's a
do?
few others. Enter the Gungeon's another one that's coming up. I don't know if it's been posted yet.
Yeah, Song of the Deep.
Yeah,
the new
that
Insomnia.
game.
Yeah, that game. You know, the big one that was there.
Mhm.
Song of the Deep, got hands-on impressions of that, and then the other one that's currently up is Dead Star.
Okay.
So yeah,
So
gonna have some good
yeah,
stuff to
check
talk
those
about.
out. You'll probably have more in-depth things to talk about on the podcast.
Yep.
But until then, let's dig into some news, Colin. We picked some news stories out from this week.
Mhm.
Some fun stuff. Not a huge news week, but some interesting things nonetheless. This one popped up earlier today when I woke up, and it was like, "Hey, this game's coming out next month. Here's the date. Trackmania Turbo. It's coming out on PS4 March 22nd." This was a game that got delayed out of December last year.
Yep.
If you remember, it was coming out early December, got pushed back.
Yep.
Pretty close to its release, so it's finally coming out. It's got about a little under 2 months left, I guess.
Mhm.
I'm pretty stoked for it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're looking forward to this at all.
It's like it's a Ubisoft game, correct?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's you're basically kind of it kind of reminded me of like
You're driving on the walls.
Yeah,
and the
driving on
ceiling.
walls. It kind of reminds me of that Jet Car Stunts game, but like maybe a little bit prettier and better and
yeah.
better.
Mhm.
But yeah, there's like a lot of customization. You can build tracks and do crazy. I almost kind of equate it to like when you're a kid playing with Hot Wheels on like all these
And
crazy
you
ramps
just set
and
up all
stuff.
sorts of crazy stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm definitely I'm pretty.
I'm looking forward to it. And Trackmania has been around for a while, especially on PC. I think only on PC up till now.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be its console.
Console debut. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be great. That's gonna be fun. Ninja Senki DX. This game's coming out February 23rd to PS4 and Vita. So this one's interesting. This game's got an interesting little history going on. So this is from Tribute Games. You may know them from Mercenary Kings.
Oh yeah.
And then there was that other Curses and Chaos. Is that what it was called?
The name
Came out last fall.
Sounds correct. I didn't play it, but it sounds correct.
I didn't either. It came out last fall, so they've put some other games on the PlayStation Network.
Mm-hmm.
But this game actually was the first one they did, Ninja Senki, I guess.
Okay.
And this was a game that was created, I think, before they formed their team.
Mm-hmm.
So this DX version is kind of like a director's cut kind of version of this game that they're releasing. It's been 5 years since they made it. So they're putting it out. It's coming out to PS4 and Vita. So that should be pretty cool. It looks pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's like a nice platformer, kind of even like I'd almost say like a Game Boy Color kind of look to it.
Yes.
So.
Yep. So that looks cool. And our final news story, or final of our main news here, Colin, is one made for me. I think I tried to explain this to you a little bit before recording. This is Colat. That's what we're going with.
Cola. I don't know.
Pina colada. Colat is coming to PS4. Apparently, it's been on PC for a little while, maybe PC Early Access. It's coming out March 8th. So this is a horror or more of an exploration game with a horror vibe, I think is how they're explaining it.
Yeah.
Which reminds me of Soma, actually, where Soma wasn't really much of a. I wouldn't say Soma was a horror game. It was more like an exploration with like horror elements.
But you
If
wouldn't
that
call
makes
it
sense.
you wouldn't call it a walking simulator though.
No, not that.
Okay.
It was weird. It wasn't as. I guess it wasn't as horror and scary and whatnot as I was expecting it to be.
Mm-hmm.
But there are elements of it, so that's kind of what I'm expecting here.
Yeah.
And this is actually based off true events.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that thing? You know how like you go to see the movie and it's like based on or inspired by real events.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this has that in its trailer. Basically, it is based off, and I'm gonna butcher this, Colin, but I'm gonna do my best. The Dyatlov Pass incident.
I think you nailed it.
We're gonna go with that also. I'm gonna say that's how. I don't know that I've ever really heard it pronounced, or
Yeah.
I have, but not for a long time. So this was a really interesting mystery that's been around for, God, like over 50 years at this point. Basically, as I was explaining to you, if you don't know what this is, it is the story of there's like I think like 8 or 9 hikers that were going up a mountain in Russia, like a snowy mountain, very dangerous, hazardous area.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they were skiers or something, but they went missing, basically.
Yeah.
These people who have done this many, many times before, they went missing. I think sometime later they were found, their bodies were found, and they were all dead. But it was the type of thing where instead of coming to the natural conclusion that, oh, it was just the hazardous environment that did them in, it seems like there was something more. There was something weird about the circumstances that they were found in and all sorts of other stuff, which has spawned numerous like History Channel shows theorizing weird anomalies, aliens, monsters, ghosts, demons, you name it.
Yeah.
All of this stuff has been talked about, and this has been if you've heard of it, you're probably familiar with it. It's a really fascinating story. But if you haven't, this has been a thing that's been around for a while. It happened, I believe, in the 1950s.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a really interesting story with many, many, many weird theories, irrational theories, whatever. So this is a game based around that event, basically.
Yeah.
And I assume it's probably going to take a supernatural approach to it. That seems to be what the trailer was pointing towards.
Yeah, that's what I'd agree with that.
So they're saying exploration with some horror vibes. I'm super into this. I think it's super cool to create like it's something I don't know that we've seen a lot of, where it's like here's an actual historic event that has a lot of mystery surrounding it,
Mm-hmm.
and we're gonna make a game based around that.
Yeah.
You don't see that often, I don't think. So
Yeah.
pretty cool. That's some of your news. We do have our main topic coming up. Colin, what's the big hit me with the big news for this week?
There's been Iowa caucuses, there's like New Hampshire caucuses, there's an election coming this November in the United States. But we can actually vote for other things. Maybe.
But the most important thing you should vote for.
The most important thing you should vote for is the March 2016 PlayStation Plus game.
Vote to play.
Vote to play, yes. And the nominees are Action Hank by Curve Digital and Rage Squid. It's kind of what we were almost talking about. Like it's kind of
we were talking about like 3 weeks ago, I think.
Yeah, we talked about 3 weeks ago. We have Assault Android Cactus, which you might have to describe this one a little bit. But then I'll just move on to Broforce, finally, which is kind of a side-scroller. I don't want to say too much of a side. So it's like basically you blow up everything. It's a 2D kind of platformer. You blow up everything.
You blow up everything.
You pretty much blow up everything. You play as these kind of action heroes.
Numerous action heroes and bros.
With bros. If you remember, like Broshita was a Twitter name for Shuhei Yoshida for a long time, like a couple E3s ago. But yeah, I just kind of to start off like real quick, I think this is like actually a really good kind of selection of games.
I agree. Yeah.
From. Yeah. I don't know I've heard of all of these games. I don't know too much about. I know we've talked about Action Hank. I can't remember too much about Assault Android Cactus. Maybe you can go into that just a little bit.
Yeah. So Assault Android Cactus is it's a twin stick shooter, but I think that would be doing it a little bit of injustice.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's got a lot of like visually, it's got a lot of interesting things going on. There's like these female I don't know if like robot cyborg thing, like I don't know. I'm not sure how to describe them, but there's like different
Okay.
like classes, I guess, that you can play as. Um, but it's the thing that game always pops out to me visually
Hmm.
because like the way that the levels, the arenas are set up is they're like constantly evolving and changing, and things are like moving in and out, and it's like walls are being like formed at random moments. I remember
Okay.
playing a demo for this some time ago,
Okay.
and being in like really being super into it. It's a really really interesting game, and
Hmm.
to call it like it's one of those things where it's like yeah, it's a twin stick shooter, and your initial thought it's like oh another one,
Yeah.
but I think there's a bit more to this, and actually this is of the three, at least on my Twitter, this has been the one that I've seen the most people talking about.
Hmm. Yeah.
So
Yeah, I would say so. Um, I played Broforce probably like a couple times at different events that I've been to. It's been at a lot of events.
mhm.
It's kind of nice to see it finally coming out. But I feel like I don't really know if that. I mean, it doesn't really. I mean, depending on who you are, I don't think it has like online or anything like that. But
No.
especially local co-op is really fun, especially when you have like a group of friends. You're just blowing stuff up left and right. This is like definitely kind of one of the. I feel like with all these games, these are kind of like those the games that might even be like a highlight for the week. Would be
Oh,
like one of these
absolutely.
games. Like, like one week you'd be like, hey, we got Action Hang. Next week get Android Assault Cactus. Next week Broforce.
I
But
mean,
they're
like,
all coming out like
I, w-
here, and you get to choose which one.
I guess my only thing I'd say about that is like the way things have been coming out so far this year. Like, it's hard to pick a highlight these days because it's like there's 2 or 3 a week at this point. At
Sure.
least for the past few weeks, there's been 2 to 3 like major releases.
Yeah.
I mean, next week alone, it's Firewatch and Unravel
Yeah. I was
off the
gonna
top of
mention
my
that.
head, and like those are not the only two like kind of big games coming out next week.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's intense, and like, and then of course this past week it was like 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
The week before that there was The Witness and a bunch of others. It's been intense,
Yeah.
but I do know what you mean. Like I think normally it'd be like yeah, Action Hank is coming out this week. Awesome, like I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
That looks really cool. Assault Android Cactus would be another one. Broforce, yeah, exactly what you were just saying.
Yeah.
Although at this point, if all 3 of those games are coming out the same day,
Yeah.
like oh my god.
So voting starts February 9th, and you can
Mhm.
do that, I believe, just like last time you're on your PlayStation 4 dashboard kind of thing.
Yep.
I think you can go into the what's new kind of thing, and there'll be a thing. There'll probably be from like a from PlayStation notification for you also. I expect kind of like like last time with Vote to Play, Grow Home kind of just it wasn't like of course unanimous, right? But like it kind of like won pretty good,
Yeah.
like it won favorably or whatever.
Yep.
I feel like this one could be very close. I feel like this month. I don't know. I feel like
I'm
Action.
curious. Yeah.
If we had to choose, maybe we make a quick prediction.
Yeah. So
What do
who? Well, first of all, before we predict who we think is gonna win,
Okay.
who would you want of the 3? What's your vote going towards?
Probably Broforce.
Okay.
about
I'm
you?
Action Hank. That's interesting. I think Eric and I were
Okay.
both big on Action Hank
Okay.
a few days ago.
But who do I think will
Mhm.
win? I think one. I think Assault. I think Assault Android Cactus will be 1, Broforce 2, and Action Hank 3.
I think I think Assault Android Cactus has this in the bag.
Yeah.
Just
Okay.
from what I've seen, I feel like I'm only seeing people say vote for Assault Android Cactus.
I've seen some people say Broforce, but yeah, I see a
Okay.
lot of. I see a lot. I'm just saying, like, I see a lot of Assault.
If we're seeing a
Android
lot
Cactus.
of yeah. So
Yeah.
that wouldn't surprise me if that won. That'd be totally fine. I'm looking.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that game.
Yeah.
But my vote's going for Action Hank.
Yeah.
Personally.
Definitely let us know, you
Yeah.
dear listener, what you're gonna vote for. So just kind of bring up some
And
conversation.
one other thing I do want to bring up before we move on and in the show, which Colin is right. Yeah, definitely let us know what your vote's going towards.
Yep.
And what you think of the 3 choices. We I noticed somebody tweet at us earlier this week saying don't vote because this is not what we want. And I didn't respond because I didn't want to start anything.
Yeah.
But here's my issue: is I feel like that's like obviously before the vote to play stuff, and even after the first vote to play, it's like a lot of people are unhappy, and it's kind of there's this like thing where people were like, you remember like 2 years ago when Plus was good and we
Yeah.
were getting these games, and now look at this, and now we're getting these bad games, and I mean whatever. I still think we're getting good stuff,
Yeah. I agree.
but I just and yeah, this is the second time, and they said, I mean, I know Brad's even brought up, I was like, we haven't even had a vote to play. We had it once. Well, here's our second time. Of course, it's been about
Hmm.
4 to 5 months.
Yeah.
There, and I don't know. Maybe you have a problem with the 3 games they've chosen. I don't like at this point. I don't know what you want. I mean, obviously you want knack,
Yeah.
or people want retail games that are not going to happen,
Yeah.
at least for a long time,
Yeah.
at least for like a while.
Hmm.
And I think like initially it was like, we'll wait till the PS4 has been out a year and then we'll have like a year of releases. And then the goalpost on that kind of got moved back. But I think even that thinking was wrong. It was like, listen, like the PS4 is brand new. The Vita was a different scenario altogether with them offering Uncharted and Gravity Rush and whatnot.
Yeah.
But this is, it's the best selling console out right now. A lot of the games are expensive to make. I don't know the details on what deals would be for PlayStation Plus games, but I can't imagine it's at a point where we're going to be seeing legitimate like retail games consistently. Injustice, I imagine there was some sort of crazy deal that went into that
Yeah.
and made it like a kind of a one-time thing.
Sure.
But at the same time, I'm looking at these 3 games. All 3 of these games are like Action Hank. I name another game that is even similar to that, right? There's not very many.
Yeah.
Like that's a pretty unique game. I guess you could make the argument that Assault Android Cactus is another twin stick shooter, whatever.
Hmm.
But Broforce is also like kind of interesting. It's a little bit different. Grow Home. You and I didn't necessarily get into it, but it took Brad and Eric by storm.
Yeah.
Never would have seen that coming, right?
Sure.
Like those two, like had no idea what that game was, and then like fell in love with it. Um, it's the thing of like just give something a shot. Just give it a chance.
Yeah.
And it just, I don't know. It's one of those things that bugs me, and I don't say anything about it. But it's like, listen, like they are actually like the whole point of this, and maybe they're not doing it the best, and maybe it's a thing of like, yeah, well they should do it every month, and maybe that's not an option. I'm
Mhm.
sure these deals are months and months in the making.
Yeah.
I mean, we
Sure.
know from Rocket League, it was a thing of like they came to him early, and then it was like things changed, and then they came to him a second time with a better offer, right? Like, so we know that in and of itself was a long time in the process of making that deal happen.
Yeah.
So, whatever, they are at least changing things. Like the vote to play thing to me is a reaction to the negative feedback, we'll say, right?
Yeah.
Like
I
that is like people complaining, and they're like, okay, we'll do this vote to play initiative. And
yeah, but I still feel like it's still not exactly what, and I'm just kind of playing the devil's advocate side.
okay, sure.
But it's still not like exactly what people want.
I'm just convinced no one's gonna be happy until
Yeah,
like
I agree.
until we get Uncharted 4 on Plus.
Yeah.
And then at that point, someone's still gonna be angry because you can't please everybody.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Like, I just think it's kind of annoying that it's like, look, they're listening to you, like they're trying, like they're doing things, and I don't want to come off as like defending them at all, because yeah, there have certainly been months of Plus that I've been like, that's not great, but whatever, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, like if there's even one thing on that list, then that's fine, then good, because it's a few bucks a month at this point. But it just bugs
Yeah.
me, especially when I look at these 3 games. All 3 of these games look interesting in their own way.
Yeah.
All 3 of them are probably... I think there's a good, solid chance that these 3 games are going to be pretty good.
Mhm.
Because all 3 of these games have actually been around, right?
Yeah.
Like, especially on PC, I think all 3 of these games have been available for some time.
Yep.
You know, it's not like they're bad games at all. So, like,
Mhm.
I think there's reason to be excited about each of these 3 games. And just give it a shot. Like, I don't like this mentality of, like, this isn't what we want. It's like, no, of course not. Of course
Yeah.
it's not what you want.
And I feel like, I mean, this isn't really a tangent. It's just kind of just going off on random thoughts. But like, if they gave you Infamous Second Son, Killzone Shadowfall, or Tomb Raider Definitive Edition or whatever on like vote to play, vote for these 3 games.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that kind of lessens like the amount, like the actual like PlayStation Network games that come out. Like then it's kind of like, oh well, now we get these games for Plus, and it just feels like nobody's gonna care about like you know, something that we get for free, like something like a Zeo Drifter that came out for free or something that like people actually really enjoyed. So I guess I get what I'm saying is that like I just feel like it kind of maybe lessens like the PlayStation Network games, that like people aren't really going to want to try those. But the other thing is that, you know, so don't mean to sound like Andrew Ryan here, but you know, you give somebody an ounce, they want a pound.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, you give somebody like a little bit, now they want even more. They want even more. So I agree. I don't think they're going to be able to please everybody. But I mean, you can't please the people that I feel like that I've actually seen firsthand that comment on random PlayStation YouTube channel videos, and they want Black Ops 1 on PlayStation 3.
And it's like, come on.
Yeah.
I guess it's the difference between like there are legitimate complaints to be levied at Plus and numerous other things that are happening at Sony, right? Mm-hmm. There were like legitimate things to complain about. I think where I get more annoyed is like when people ask for just things that are not rational. Like it's like, no, that's not that wouldn't even make sense. Yeah. It's like you're asking for, like you said, like a Call of Duty game or something. It's like, no, of course that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Like come on. Obviously that's not within the realm of possibility.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I could maybe see, it's like, yeah, if you want to do like a more, like, we'll see what vote to play leads to in the future. Is it a thing that's going to be twice a year? Is it going to be 3 times a year? You know, like, we'll see what that leads to. But
yeah, and this is kind of going to another discussion altogether, but let's just kind of skim the surface of it. Hypothetically, if when they do cut PlayStation 3 games.
Well, yeah, it was brought up last week.
Okay, yeah, I remember you guys were talking about it a little bit, but will they start offering higher value PlayStation 4 games if they cut PS3 like altogether to try and like,
my guess, I mean, if I had to predict, and like, you know, this is probably totally wrong, I would assume that it'd be a couple years from now. It would have to be at a point where like they're ready to have usher the PS3 out. Which tends to take time, because if you remember, like the PS2 was around for a long time.
Yeah. After
PS3 came out, I think the PSP was the same situation. Like Vita's been out for a while, and then the PSP's only recently kind of, or I guess in the last couple years.
Yeah.
But my the question would be when they usher the PS3 out or the Vita. Like I don't even know, right? Mm-hmm. The way that they handle the Vita these days, like they ignore it.
Yeah.
They didn't even put like sometimes they'll put like the post on the blog with like all the games out that day, the PlayStation Store update on the blog.
Yeah.
And like they'll completely not even, like they'll forget Vita games, or they'll put Letter Quest Remastered was a game that's been, it's like twice now.
Yeah.
That particular game was like, yeah, it's coming out on Vita this week. Yeah. And without any notification, without any like anyone even saying anything, it's still posted as part of the store update.
Yeah.
But it's not there.
Sure.
And like the only way you know that it's been pushed back is like the developers had to say something, which of course, yeah, the developer should say something. But it's not even that game. Like there's been numerous times where a Vita game's been set to come out, and it's not been like until the store update has been finished and the blog post is up that it's like, oh yeah, that's not coming out today. It's like, okay, great. Like, yeah. And I'm not someone that typically complains about the way they handle Vita stuff, but like, I feel like there are legitimate complaints that you can be like, come on, like it shouldn't take that much effort.
Yeah.
To be like, this game's not coming out today. I don't know, it got pushed back.
Yeah.
Last second thing. I don't know. But at any rate, that's vote to play.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think.
And I just kind of was like the last thing. It's just I think we've talked about it before. I mean, you guys might have touched on it last week. It's just so weird when they announce like, here's the new PlayStation Plus games, and they only show the 2 PS4 ones. They don't ever, like, they show their trailer, they do their blog post. Like the only way you get to see it in the like what's actually there is you have to read down the article to see what the PS3 and Vita games are. I don't know. It's just kind of just a thought, I guess. That's just, you're kind of right. Like they don't really
they ignore
care all that. Yeah, they do.
Yeah, and And in some circumstances, I can understand it. But there are certainly other times where it's like, is it that hard to just like type the name of a game
Yeah.
on Vita? Like,
Maybe.
is that hard, or is it like, I don't know. Sometimes it's annoying when it's like, hey, I'll check this game out and do a video for it, and it's like, oh, it's not PlayStation TV compatible.
Yeah.
And sometimes that makes sense because it's like a touch only game, but then sometimes it's like, why? Why is this not? I don't know. That might be on the developer's end. I'm sure it is, but
Well, they've done the same thing. Like, you get home with a you get this brand new game with Danny Trejo called The Fight Lights Out, and you're like, I can't wait to play this fighting game. And they're like, PlayStation Move only, or like it or something, and it says like required, but like, you have other ones that like it says the fine print like needs online or something like that, requires internet, like it says at the bottom. I don't think they do a very good job messaging, but we've been going pretty long.
They've had that issue for a while, I feel.
Yeah.
So, very, very quickly, two last things. We're going a lot longer than we planned. I was got a surprise question for you, Collin.
Okay.
How many Digimon can you name? Go.
Pikachu. Squirtle. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's Pikamon. Squirtlemon.
Mm-hmm.
They're all, yeah. Bulbasaurmon. Mewmon.
Hey, Collin, what are you going to play this weekend?
Man, what am I going to play this weekend? I don't know, maybe do like some trophy hunting in some games I haven't played.
Okay.
For a while. Been yeah, like I've been like cleaning up trophies in like Octodad, like just like random games like that. I'm replaying Life is Strange, so I'll probably jump into that.
Okay.
Maybe start up the Final Fantasy VII that I bought a while back.
Oh, you should do that.
Yeah, that might be on the plate. So
it's a lot of cleanup because you've finished the game you're reviewing.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that next week.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
I liked how you put "watcha."
What's your plan?
Yeah.
So God, so you're doing cleanup.
So what are you
I'm gonna be finishing up Dragon Quest Builders. I think at least the story mode. Can never be finished with that game. And then I'm gonna be digging into Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm about 2 hours into that game. It seems like it's actually good about like if you don't really know or remember much about Digimon. I'm only familiar with like that first movie that came to the movie theaters and maybe a few other little things. So it's pretty good about like introducing you to that world.
Yeah, I always remember playing like the great games like Digimon Snap and Digimon Coliseum.
And Digimon Red and Blue.
Digimon Red and Blue.
So here's the thing with Digimon is I feel like it sucks because I felt like it came out when I was like 4th grade, I think, is when Digimon kind of first kind of sprouted up. So it was about a year, if my memory serves me correctly, it was about a year or so after Pokemon hit, at least in our elementary school.
Yeah.
And the thing that sucked about it is like I felt like it never stood a chance with me because as soon as it came over, all of my friends, everyone in the elementary school was like, "Oh, it's a Pokemon ripoff," which obviously you can compare, but it doesn't. That's not fair to Digimon.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like this is my chance to actually get into it and like see what it's actually all about. Because I did see the movie and I thought the movie was good. I mean, again, I was like 9 or 10 when it came out, but I remember liking the movie. So this is actually doing a pretty good job of like introducing what Digimon even are.
Oh, okay.
So it feels newcomer friendly, but we'll have coverage of that game in some form in the future. I hear that's a very long game, so I don't know how long it'll take, but I am playing that because I've been very curious about it. So I'm now our Digimon expert on the website.
I have to ask though, what's like the catchphrase for Digimon? Like they gotta catch them all. Like what's the
you gotta Cyber Sleuthin.
Gotta download them all.
Gotta hack them all. I'm a hacker in the game.
Oh. Ooh.
So that game's actually really cool so far. It's a turn-based JRPG, which I am all about. So doing that, and then Crypto the Necrodancer I'll be playing. So that's what my weekend's looking like. What are you playing, listener or viewer? Let us know in the comments or send us an email. Let us know what you're playing, what you're getting into. Are you playing Digimon? If you are, let me know.
Do some Digimon captures.
So you can battle other people online with your Digimon team. So
Cool.
I think that's going to do it. Be sure to stop by our YouTube page and check out our gameplay glimpses. The Dark Cloud playthrough ended this past week. I have my platinum in that game now.
Wow. Nice.
So you can check out the full playthrough now in its entirety, all 31 episodes. Check out our podcast, other random reviews and whatnot that we got going on our YouTube channel and at PSNStores.com.
Yep.
You can follow us on Twitter at PSNStores. You are at Bossman C. Crowder, 2 S's, 2 C's.
Correct.
I am at PS Penguin, PSP Penguin. You can send us a question, podcast at PSNStores.com. Specify it's for the morning show, or else we'll just answer it on the other podcast. You can go to patreon.com/PSNStores to support us if you would like to. If you like the things that we do and would like to support us, that's probably the best way to do so.
Yep.
Or actually just subscribing to our YouTube channel, leaving comments on videos and reviews and whatnot. Getting that community interaction going on. That's what we're all about.
Yeah.
So that's going to do it for this show. Collin, thank you for joining me as always.
Glad to be back.
Have a great weekend to you and to everyone out there listening. And remember, Digimon are the
them all.
champions.
Oh my.